So again, we'll have more people go and joining, I'm sure. But so thanks again for joining us, those who are here. And again, we'll look forward to having a few more people join as well, I assume. My name is Dan. I'm the Director of International Admission. And so I work with international graduate students when they're interested in coming to LMU. So it's great to be here with two really phenomenal student panelists. And again, very excited to connect with you and just hear more about your interests, and happy to answer any questions that you may have. You should see the Q&A portion at the bottom of your screen. If you do want to ask any questions of the panelists, please feel free to use that venue, and we'll be happy to address those questions. But Bea, Min, you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Yeah, for sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Min. I'm a international student from Vietnam. I'm currently pursuing my master's in business analytics at LMU. Before this, I spent a few years in Louisiana and Texas for my undergrad. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bea. I'm an international student from Spain, and I'm doing my master's in film production. I just picked my specialization, so I'm going to do directing. And I did half of my undergrad in Spain and the other half upstate New York.
Fantastic. Okay, great. Well, again, thank you so much for sharing your perspective with us today. So we often get questions, for example, what is it that made you choose to come to LMU? So maybe you could start there. What was it about LMU that was really attractive to you?
Yeah, originally, when I was looking at schools, I obviously sorry, I was saying I was kind of just picking through schools, and same reasons as a lot of the other students, good program, good, beautiful campus, good location. But as later on, something that really stood out to me that differentiate LMU from other schools was especially the Marymount education. The idea is developing student not just academically, but be a whole person, pushing us to become better, to be a force of good. And that's something that I can definitely see within my program, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like some of the reasons were the same. I mean, the School of Film and Television is the #8 in the US, so it's a really good school. We have really great opportunities. And then we have also really good connections. So our professors work in the industry, which is amazing to be able to have that experience and like to share your ideas with people that are currently working in the industry. So that to me was one of the biggest parts. And also a really big part to me was housing, that I was able to get housing through LMU as a graduate student. So that to me was a really important part.
Oh, great. Well, thank you very much for that. So, we have a lot of students who really are kind of intrigued by the idea of studying Los Angeles. And so I'm curious, what is it about Los Angeles that really appeals to you as a destination for your studies?
I would say there's, I would say there's definitely a lot of different culture. It's a very big city, very rich in culture, but also opportunities. Especially LMU, we're located in Silicon Beach, and for those that are not familiar, it's a very big hub for big name employers. Our LMU has a second campus in Playa Vista, and we actually, fun fact, share the same building as Facebook. And across the street, we have Google. So it's a fantastic opportunity for students who go here.
Yeah, I agree. We also have Peacock and YouTube, like really close to us in Playa Vista, which is really good. And I feel like the opportunities are really, really big here. You always have an opportunity, especially, I mean, in my field, I think this is a place where you can find a good job and where you can start, and there are a lot of opportunities. So yeah, I agree with that.
Fantastic. And you've spoken a little bit already about the connections you have with the professors. Can you speak about that a little bit more, about what it's like to be in a classroom in your program, and what kind of connections you've made with your faculty?
Yeah. So, you can
go ahead, Bea.
Yeah, go ahead, Bea.
Yeah. So, me personally, our classes in the School of Film and Television are really small. My biggest class right now, I think it's 9 of us, which is crazy to me that only 9 people, like we only have 9 people in the class. So it's really important because our projects are based on feedback. So we're always trying to improve. So we need feedback, and it's amazing that we have one-on-one times with our professors, and also we are able to like take a look at our projects, Everyone is able to get comments from their classmates, not only their professors. And then my professors are great. Whenever you have any issues or anything that you need, they're there to help you. You can just email them, talk to them in person, whatever you need, they're always there. And even like I have professors that I had my first semester, and they're always like checking on you. They want to see your projects, they want to see how you're doing, and if you need any help, you can always reach out to them.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Bia. One of the greatest things I find is professors here, they're very accessible, very accommodating to help us. All my professors, in fact, I have permission from them to text them at 11 p.m. for about homework if I need to. I don't because I want to respect their time. But this thing it shows you how dedicated they are. And also classroom size for the MSBA program, I think it's the perfect size where it's not too big or too small. So you still get to know your professor really well, but at the same time, you get to work with a lot of people within your program, seeing different experiences, different skill sets within the cohort. And I think it's really amazing.
Very exciting. Well, and I think one of the things that's at least as stand out to me about the experience of being a student at LMU is really focus on hands-on learning. And I think some of you have spoken a little bit about that already. But Bea, can you speak a little bit about what kinds of things you're able to do? Really getting hands-on experience and understanding industry expertise and those kind of things that's really relevant for your program.
Yeah, so from day one, you're able to work on student sets. We have sets every weekend, every semester. So if you like to work on sets, there are a lot of positions available. We always, like, every single weekend from either Thursday or Friday to Sunday, we're working on sets, which is amazing because you get that experience and it's not stressful and like really like in industry level environment. So it's like you are able to do what you like, but you're also learning, and it's not like we're all here to learn. So no one is gonna be like, I don't know, like no one is gonna be like, oh, you're not good at that at this. They're there to help you. They're there to help you learn, to make sure that you know what you're doing, which is great. I've been doing sets like every weekend, and you don't only get the experience, you also get like friends. You get classmates that maybe you don't talk to them, but now you have that connection with them, and whenever you need help, you can always reach out to them. So that's an amazing opportunity, honestly.
Fantastic. Can you also speak to that, Min, about practical learning that you've experienced so far?
Yeah, I think practical learning, especially at a graduate level, is really important. And I'm lucky enough to have the opportunity to do it in many places. Within the program itself, just last week, we actually had a data competition, which we take real life data sets, and then we analyze it. Then we have judges from the industry come and judge us and give us advice on how we collect the data. I also have an on-campus job, which I help the graduate admission team and also the enrollment office to do some data analytics, and that's really relevant to the field that I'm studying. So I think it's a great chance to get some experience.
That's great. And you were talking to me earlier about the summer project you'll be part of as well. Can you speak a little about that a little bit?
Yeah, so it's part of the MSBA program. It's called the Capstone Project. So the faculties here at LMU reach out to companies in the industry and different industries, and they create projects for LMU students and in the MSBA program. You can essentially think of it as a mini internship before you actually graduate to get some real life experience. And I actually know a lot of students who got internships and job offers out of this capstone project.
Fantastic. Oh, and to switch gears a little bit, love to hear more about your perspective about the international student community at LMU and the ton of the students that you've met, the way that you've seen international students interact with U.S. citizens and domestic students. So how do you feel as an international student at LMU? Maybe just answer that question.
Yeah, so personally, I feel like the community here is amazing. My classes and my cohort is full of international students, but we also have like obviously domestic students, which is great because you get a lot of like different backgrounds, different stories, and it's great in like an industry like mine because we read so many stories that are completely different, and I just think it's great. And I mean I never had an issue with anyone, and I think it's a really really nice community.
Yeah, I agree with Bea on that. It's probably arguably one of the best parts of being a student, especially international student here at LMU, is be able to go out to LA and just explore what LA has to offer with your international friends. You know, learning about different places in the city, trying different food, and also just making friends on campus and having a great community at work, but also at school. That a lot of people to support you within your international journey around the country. So
That's great. And I wonder if the two of you could speak a little bit about, maybe your favorite place in Los Angeles, the place that's been the most exciting place for you to explore since you've been here.
I mean, for me, that would be the beach. I don't really care. I don't have a preference. It's just the beach. I'm from the north of Spain, but it's like still in the center of the country. So I don't have a beach close to me. So the fact that any day I can go to the beach, watch the sunset, it's amazing.
yeah, I would have to agree with Bea. I went to undergrad in Louisiana, so the water isn't as clear there. The water is really nice here. um, but yeah, I also enjoy hiking a lot. There's a lot of nice hiking spots around here. So.
That's great. That's great. Um, so if you could tell us a little bit about your experiences. I know a lot of international students often ask about, nuts and bolts of going through the student visa process, applying for a student visa, and kind of like how your interactions with LMU were in that whole process. Could you speak about that a little bit? Or speak to maybe some of the questions you had before you went through and applied for a student visa, and how LMU might have helped through that process?
Yeah, so for me in particularly, I had a visa already from my undergrad. So it was more like in my passport, I have the name of a school, but now I'm not going to be attending that school anymore. Like, what's going on? So, like, I was in contact with the international office and it was great. Like, I didn't have any issues. And now my passport expired and I had some questions about that. So, I was like, what should I do? So, I'm always like in contact with the international office, and I really, really appreciate that help because sometimes I just don't know what to do.
Yeah, I have two advice for students that are in the process of doing visa paperwork. Number one is to start early, in case paperwork goes wrong, anything to prepare, And secondly, if you have questions, please feel free to ask OISS, the Office of International Students, or any of the staff that you come across. And if we can't answer that, we can direct you to someone who can help you answer that question.
Sounds great. That's definitely great advice. But I was curious if the two of you could speak a little bit as well about maybe things that have surprised you about. So you've both been in the U.S. for a little while now, right? What was it when you adjusted to life in the U.S.? What were the things that were most surprising to you about the way that life in the U.S. is compared to where you are, compared to back home?
I think to me, one of the things like related to like academics and stuff was that attendance here is mandatory, which it was like it was new to me. In Spain, if you don't like, no one is gonna track you if you don't go to class. Like that's up to you. You're the one paying. You're the one missing out. Um, so that was like I was like, wait, what? I have to go to every single class. Like if you're sick, like it was like to me that was shocking, honestly.
I actually had the opposite. I think for me personally, going to the U.S., I had to become a lot more independent and take
Okay.
on, be more responsible with um, studies, but also just like everyday, day-to-day living. Um, and that's definitely something to adjust to. But I think coming out of that really made me become more mature and come out of my shell. So
Very nice. Very nice. Well, great. It's a wonderful conversation so far. Again, we do have some people in the audience who'd love to hear from you. If you do have any questions, please feel free to use the Q&A function, or if you just like to unmute yourself or ask any questions, that would work as well. But again, love to hear from you, hear some of your questions, or some of the things that most interest you about being a student. Again, not necessarily just at LMU, but more generally, being an international student in the U.S. Would be happy to address those questions as well. So please feel free to put those in the question and answer. I guess it'd be great to hear from both of you, kind of thinking about as you were considering your options. How was it? How were you able to decide about where you wanted to go, and maybe some advice you might have about considering your options when you're looking to study outside of your home country?
So to me, I already talked about it, but it was really important to have housing. I don't really plan to stay in the US after my master's. So I didn't want to buy furniture. I didn't want to rent a place that was empty and I had to buy in everything. And I don't have a car, which is awful in LA. It's really bad. But I was able to get housing through LMU and I can walk to campus. I don't have to get furniture. So that to me was like one of the main reasons why I picked LMU.
And could you explain a little more about where you're living, what the housing situation is like? Are you have roommates, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so right now I'm still living through LMU, of course, and it's an apartment complex, but it's not just for students. So like families live here. People that just want to rent a place here live here. It's an amazing place. Honestly, we have pool, we have a gym, we have sauna, jacuzzi, whatever you think of, we have it here. We have the UPS store here. We have, I don't know, everything. And it's a 15 to 20-minute walk to campus, which is perfect. Like the weather here is usually nice, so it's a nice walk. And I usually walk through the neighborhood, which is, it's pretty safe. I never had any issues. And yeah, I have a roommate right now. Last year I had two roommates, and this year I have one roommate, and she's my friend, so we were able to like move in together through LMU, which was great, honestly.
Yeah, for me, I would say the biggest contributor to my decision to study in the U.S. Is the fact that here it's a lot more hands-on when it comes to your study. You're actually diving into problems, working through it instead of learning a more textbook methodology. The second reason is I love U.S. culture. My coworkers know this, but I love walking around with my cowboy hat and cowboy boots.
Nice. Well, can you explain more about that?
The boots and the hats?
Yeah, sure. Where did that come from, or where did what inspires you to?
I did my high school in Texas, Dallas, Texas, and that's where I made a lot of my good friends, and the people in Texas were amazing to me, and I got introduced to country music and Western movies, and I fell in love with the culture. And it was also fun too to experience a different part of the U.S. because California is definitely very different from Texas or Louisiana, and experiencing different culture, different food, meeting new people, and it's so rewarding. That's something I so thankful for, because you can't do that if you study from home. You're just on the camera. You should go out there and explore. It's great.
No, that sounds like it's been really fantastic. That's really great to hear. Well, and both of you spoke a little bit about kind of what you hope to, how you hope that this experience at LMU might springboard you to future success. I just wondering if you could talk a little bit more about that. What are your hopes and aspirations? What do you hope to do next? And maybe have you found any beneficial, say for example, have you worked with the Office for Career and Professional Development at all on campus, and to what extent has that office or other advisors on campus helped you to really think about what you might want to do in the future?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm still not sure what I want to do in the future. Um, Obviously, I would love to do my own feature film, but I would love to work in the music industry. And I had this semester I was able to take a music video production class, and my professor works in the industry. Like he's making music videos for famous artists right now, it's an amazing experience, honestly. Um, so yeah, hopefully something like that. And I personally didn't have like a lot, and I haven't worked a lot with the career and development office. And I think it's because I'm not usually in that campus. So that's a little, even if I have that resource, it's like I would rather go in person, but then I'm usually at the Playa Vista campus. But I know it's wonderful. I attend one of the resume review sessions, so I was able to like work my on my resume, and it was great.
Yeah, for me, I'm very lucky that the MSBA program actually has a smaller program, which we got paired up with a kind of a personal mentor that's actually working in the industry. And my mentor is actually a manager at Google. So I'm fortunate enough to
Oh, wow.
be able to talk to him and learn about, what career options are there in the industry and learn more about it. For in terms of CPD, it's a great resource. I've been to some of the career fairs, meet a lot of employers, and it's even better because I actually see some of my friends on the other side of the table, talking to the students. So it means, oh, it could be me staying on the other side one day. And then CBD also has excellent resources. I use their artificial intelligence resume checking system. I uploaded my resume and the AI looks through the resume, match keywords, give recommendations on what sort of people in the industry are crafting their resume and how I should craft mine also. That was pretty powerful stuff.
Oh, fantastic. That sounds amazing. Yeah. Well, that's great. So that's really fantastic to hear. So it sounds like you have a bright future ahead, which is really very exciting to hear as well. So we do have a few more minutes left. I guess my question is: are there anything else we haven't talked about yet, or any advice that you'd like to give students as they're considering the possibilities that they might want to look into in the future?
I'll just say like just be open to anything and everything. Like you're gonna have a lot of opportunities here, so just like take those opportunities and don't be afraid. Like, oh, what if I fail? Like just take those opportunities because they're gonna lead you to something really great.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Try 100% because the best thing about 100% is you can't do 101%. Try your best and get something out of it. And also, if you're an international student, check out, look up OPT. It gives you time to some more time to study and work in the U.S. to get experience, and I think it's really valuable.
Okay. And again, could you explain a little more about that? So again, if you're not aware, we're talking about optional practical training, which is an option, which is actually built into the student visa process. But if you want to speak more about that, Min.
Yeah, so think of it as like an extension of your visa. So after you complete your studies within your program, depending on your program, whether it's science related or not, you usually have 1 year to go out there in a job or field that is related to your major of study. And that will be direct, hands-on, help you get that experience in the US and working experience.
Yes, and again, so for any major, you can be able to have 1 year's work experience. But then if you do a program like you're doing, Ming, you have the opportunity to do a 3 years. So it's that extension. Can you speak about that a little bit?
Yeah, so if you're STEM related, so science, math, something else I forgot the T and E's for. You have 1 year, just like any other program, and then after you have the option to extend that into 2 more years, and from there you have, depending on employer opportunity, you can also look for employer sponsor opportunities like the H-1B visa.
Fantastic. Yes, and at LMU specifically, there are quite a few programs that have the opportunity for OPT extension, including all our programs in the Seaver College of Science and Engineering for the most part. Also with our College of Business, obviously the business analytics course, masters in accounting, things like that as well. So there are quite a variety, and we are happy to talk with you further if you do have any questions about which ones are OPT extension eligible within our courses. So my fabulous colleagues who are here from the Graduate Admissions Office can certainly give you more specific details about that as well. Well, again, really appreciate you taking the time to join with us today. again, we do have maybe a minute or two for if you do have any other questions, feel free to put those in the Q&A. But again, really do appreciate your time today and really appreciate the opportunity to hear from such phenomenal people here. Okay, so the question is regarding to specific scholarships that international students can get. I know the two of you want to speak to maybe scholarships or graduate assistantships or anything like that, if pursuing those kind of possibilities at all. Where are those relevant for your experiences?
I know for depending on program, I know within each program, once you apply, you're automatically considered for scholarship. And outside of school, there's a smaller like scholarships and stuff that you can apply, and you usually have to write an essay. That's all that I know. I mean, there's obviously opportunities on campus to work like a graduate assistant or a research assistant role. So you'll not only get paid, but also you get some experience, whether researching with your professor, but also gaining practical work experience like me, because I'm currently working as a graduate assistant in the enrollment office and data analytics.
Fantastic. Anything you want to add to that, Bea, at all, or?
No, yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with that, so.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for that question. Again, maybe time for one more question if you do have any more, but again, please put that in the Q&A if you're interested. But again, otherwise, we really do appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. Again, Min, Bea, it's been wonderful to hear from your perspectives. I really do appreciate that. Any last words, last thoughts before we go?
Go Lions.
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, can we ask question?
Please, yes.
Okay, so I'm from Nepal. Hello, everyone. I finished my bachelor, which was 3-year program. So right now, I want to join for MBA. So in that process, how can I join LMU?
Sure. So we're happy to give you more information about we'll certainly encourage you to look into the website, which is a lot more specific information about the application process for the MBA course. They will actually review the transcript that they receive and verify, if the 3-year course meets their requirements, or let you know if there's any additional courses that could be required. But again, certainly encourage you to take a look at the website and follow up directly with our colleagues in the College of Business Administration, who can give you a lot more specific details about how MBA candidates are reviewed.
Yes, sir. I have already done that and also opened my portal, but I didn't get any response. Like I have done 3 years bachelor. So in that space, what do I have to do?
So again, so you've reached out to the MBA team recently?
Yes, I have emailed him.
Okay. Again, well, hopefully, you certainly encourage you to be persistent, but hopefully you'll hear back from them soon. But again, I just really encourage you to follow up directly with the MBA office, and they can give you more specifics.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good
again,
morning,
thanks,
sir.
Emily. Hello. Just I did note that they're in the
Sorry to
chat. There's
interrupt.
the link as well. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Ronak Makwan and I'm from India. Sir, I have completed my bachelor's in biochemistry. Then after completed my master's in biotechnology, and then after completed my postgraduate diploma in biodiversity management. So here my main question is, what about the part-time job during my study? Can you help me with that, information or and all? How many hours we can
Sure.
work?
Yes. So just to note that it is possible to work as a student, as Min mentioned, for example, or Bea as well. They're both working as graduate assistants, so that is possible to work part time while you are studying at LMU. There are some research assistantships as well that would be similar kind of experiences where you work directly with the faculty member in their research projects. And so it would really depend upon the individual program that's really interesting to you. Being able to connect directly with the program director and the faculty member in terms of research opportunities. But again, thanks, Emily, for putting that link there as well. You can see a lot more specifics about those opportunities there as well.
That website, there's emails of who to email in the Seaver College, and connect with them and let them know you're interested in a research assistantship, and they'll be able to connect you with faculty.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay. Well, again, once again, thank you so much for having spent the time with us today. We're happy to connect with you again in the future. So certainly, again, my colleagues from the Graduate Admissions Office, or I am more than happy to connect with you directly. Happy to put my email address here. So if you do have any specific questions for me, here is my direct email address. And again, I'm happy to connect with you and answer and provide any additional information that you might be interested in learning more about LMU. But again, thank you so much for taking the time today. Thanks again to Min and to Bea and to Emily and Letiso for supporting the team here. And thank you so much for your interest in LMU. So I hope you have a great afternoon, evening. We look forward to be connecting again with you soon. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you so much, sir.
your time. Thank you.
Thank you.